Hi everyone, welcome aboard the Bosphorus tour.
Subscribe now.
So right now is the beginning of our Bosphorus tour, and this tour I've been looking forward to because the last time I went to one was in 2008. I've actually forgotten how it was.
Okay, so we've gotten off the bus now, and the guide over here is taking us to the boat, and then we're going to be starting our trip, our tour, swiftly. So he's actually stopped the bus or the coach in Eminönü. It's near like the Eminönü tram station, and you can also see like the Galata Tower from the opposite end. That's where we are starting this tour from. So this is the boat here. This is Ibrahim Naral. This is the boat over here. So making a line. You've got the Galata Tower over there. So you're going upstairs and downstairs section. And I'm looking forward to having some cookies on here. So you make the payment when you get onto the boat. So we're going to be making a payment of 20 euros per person. Hi there, so 3 people? 3 people, okay, card. So down here you have a coffee section, and we're just going to go upstairs so we can get a better view of everything from the top. This is it. This is the view. So I'm going to try sitting over here, so I can get a good view of everything. So we commence with the Bosphorus tour now, and it's golden hour, 6 on the dot. The Bosphorus Sea or the Bosphorus River is my favorite on the planet. It's so beautiful. You've got like the view of the Galata Tower there on the opposite side. You've got a bridge there as well, and you've got all these sea vehicles that you typically see when you're on the Bosphorus. So there's 3 different times in which you can come to this Bosphorus trip. The first one is in the morning, and the morning one is between 9 to 12 midday. That's going to be about 25 euros. Then you have a lunchtime one. You get lunch served for that one. That's going to be about 35 euros, if I'm not mistaken. And then you have the evening tour, which is between 6 to 9 p.m. And that's 20 euros. It's the cheapest, but I didn't really go for the price. I actually went more for the fact that it's golden hour, and then you get to see the sunset as well. So I think I wanted to see Istanbul in 2 lights. One is the golden hour and one is the sunset. Get a nice glimpse over here of the bridge. And you can also walk over here. You also got like one of the Marmaray trains there. Now the cool thing about the tour itself is that you get someone to come to your hotel on a coach, and he brings you over here. We started our journey from our hotel, which is Firman Konak Hotel, which is located in Sultan Ahmed behind the Blue Mosque. And so the driver came all the way there. He picks us up, brings us to Eminönü, brings us onto this boat. This particular tour that we're doing is an evening tour. We get some cookies and some tea or some coffee, if I'm not mistaken. And then they drop you back to your hotel. So really good price for like 20 euros per person for 3 hours. And before that, prior to that, they collect you an hour prior to the trip commencing, which is at 6 o'clock. So they came to the hotel at 5.
First of all, 3 hours tour of a program. 1 hour in Europe side, 1 hour in Asia side. As you know, Istanbul located in 2 continents, Europe side and separately Asia side. First of all, we will continue in Europe, and now we start from Europe.
So here is the mosque of Sultan Süleyman, the magnificent, the Süleymaniye Cami, built by Marcelin.
You can see all the historical part from that point, and main historical places like Blue Mosque and Sofia Topkapı Palace, Egyptian Bazaar, Grand Bazaar, you can see from that point, from Süleymaniye Mosque.
So from here you can see the Hagia Sophia from a distance, and you can also see the Topkapı Palace as well. Okay, so this trip, this is divided into, so it's a 3-hour tour, and what he was saying is that 1 hour is going to be dedicated towards looking at the European side. So this is the European side over here. Right in front of me is the Dolmabahçe Masjid. It's a beautiful masjid. I've been there quite a few times. I really enjoy going there. It's really spiritual. And on the side over there, we are turning towards the right, is the Dolmabahçe Palace. And this is where in the mid 19th century, the Ottoman Empire moved into the Dolmabahçe Palace. So that was after like 400 years of being at the Topkapi Palace. Over there you see the Beşiktaş football stadium as well. So this area is Beşiktaş essentially. And after Beşiktaş, you come towards Bebek, which is where Rumeli Fortress is. And that's a fortress that was built like a year prior to the conquest of Constantinople in 1453 as a strategic move to help with the conquest against the Byzantines. So here is the Dolmabahçe Palace. It's really beautiful. And you can also see, that's actually, so when you walk into the Dolmabahçe Palace, that's the entrance there to the Dolmabahçe Palace itself. There's like a passway where you have to get a ticket to go in, and we'll be showing you like a new video of Dolmabahçe Palace. So I haven't been for about 3 years, but we'll be showing you a video. So do subscribe to this channel. 1 hour is going to be dedicated towards the European side, and then on the opposite end is the Asian side of Istanbul. And what they were saying is that this is obviously, all of this is the old city, this is Constantinople, but Istanbul now, once the Ottomans conquered Constantinople, they started using the Asian side. And the Asian side back in the days used to be like forest. They used to go and hunt for food over there and to relax as well. So that's how the Asian side was used in those days. And then obviously now it's developed over time. The last Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, he was forced to exile from that gate over there. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. He went by boat. And all of this is all part of Dolmabahçe Palace. When you go to the Dolmabahçe Palace as well, you get to see the palace itself, but there's also the harem section, which is a separate price when you go in. But look at this view. So that side there is the Asian side. So you can see the Jamlija Masjid here, the Jamlija Mosque. So Jamlija Masjid is perhaps the biggest in terms of size in the whole of Istanbul and the whole of Turkey as a mosque. And it's very new. It only opened about 5-6 years ago. And they have a very impressive museum there as well, like an Islamic museum. So this over here is Cherahan Palace. Looks amazing. A little bit of a different design. I like the windows that you see here. So right now you can see the Ortaköy Cami here. And this is a really famous area of Istanbul. So you see in many postcards, travel brochures, travel guides, magazines, sometimes on social media, you find some of the most famous, most iconic pictures and images of Istanbul to be of the Ortaköy Cami. And you also got that beautiful bridge in the back there. And I like coming to this area. Once I came here to Ortaköy, and they have this area where it's got all these stalls full of kumpir, which is like a Turkish jacket potato. You can add all these different types of toppings into the jacket potato, into the kumpir, and it's amazing. It really satiates you, really, gets you going for the day. So that's Ortaköy Cami there. It's a small masjid. It's got like a good height to it, but really nice to go to. And you can also see like a lot of people stood there. And then you've got this bridge here. So this bridge is going to be taking you from the European side all the way to the Asian side over there. You've got like the Jamlija Mosque behind the bridge showing there with all the minarets. So now we are approaching the Rumeli Fortress, and this is really important. When you want to understand the conquest of Constantinople in 1453, something really important took place, and that was the construction of the Rumeli Fortress, which you can see over there. Now, in the year 1394, Sultan Bayezid I built a castle on the opposite end. That was called the Anadolu Castle. And these are opposite to one another. And the strategic genius of Fatih Sultan Mehmed is that he built the Rumeli Fortress in the most narrowest area of the Bosphorus Sea. So from one end to the other, it's the most narrowest section of the Bosphorus Sea, of the Bosphorus Strait. Because if you look over here, and you look on the opposite end, it's so wide. But where the Rumeli Fortress is built, it's really narrow. That's why they call it the straight cutter. Now, why this was strategic is because, before I go into that, it took about 4 months to build this. And why it's strategic is because it's the narrowest point. So you got one castle that was built in 1394 by Sultan Bayezid I. Then you got the Rumeli Fortress here, built a year prior to the conquest of Constantinople. Now, what happens is that this was built with the intention to situate the Ottomans on both sides. And what this does is it prevents economic aid and military aid coming from the Black Sea, coming from the Marmara Sea towards the Byzantine Empire. So that's what it did. So this shows you the strategic, the marvelous genius of Fatih Sultan Mehmed, who, again, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that he is the best of commander. The Amir is the best of Amir. Also, what's amazing about the Rumeli Fortress is that they say that if you look from above, the way it's built, it's showing you the name of Muhammad in Arabic. The strategic importance of this during the conquest, you cannot really put it into words, because to stop the aid, the economic aid and the military aid towards the Byzantine Empire, that's what made it very difficult for them to withstand the siege that they had to experience. And now you can see, so you have the Rumeli Fortress there, and behind is the Rumeli Bridge. So this is the European side. So again, you're moving on to the Asian side there. If you go over the bridge, that takes you close to Beykoz. Look how narrow it is. You know, look how narrow it is. With the Byzantine Empire, they are Orthodox Christians, so they tried to get some help from Rome, from the Catholic Church. And if you see one of the documentaries on Netflix, even though they had like a little bit of an alliance later on, they were trying to bring some aid into Constantinople at the time, but they couldn't get here on time to give them any sort of financial, economic, or military aid at that time. So it was very difficult for them. But Muslims, for many centuries, they were trying to run after the prophecy to conquer Constantinople. Now there's another prophecy, which is to conquer Rome, which will happen eventually, because prophecies like this do come true, especially when Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is telling us. So that's something that we got to keep in mind. So Muslims strive for that, and they were able to achieve it, you know, within a few centuries. So let's see over here. You have Rumeli Fortress there. It must be going through some sort of restoration works, and then you've got the Rumeli Bridge there. And by the way, this is Bebek, this area here. And we were here a couple of years ago. I really enjoyed it. It's like such a cool area. Like it's not so crowded, because if you go to the Golden Horn area, it's really crowded. Over here, it's like less crowded. It's got good quality of people over here. You know, you see a lot of people running and doing some jogging over here, and you've got some nice cafes on the opposite end, just like below the Rumeli Fortress as well. So even to a view, like I really like this area, and I've spoken with my family that I would like to spend some time here, maybe just get like an Airbnb and just stay over here, you know, and enjoy the blue Bosphorus Sea. And there it is, Rumeli Fortress. And I wanted to specifically show you. So this, for the European side, 1 hour is spent in the European side. So this is going to be the end of the European side. Now they're going to be going around and then showing the Asian side. So you kind of get a view of how much they show you. Now, the tour guide, he's really good. He gives you information on Istanbul. Now, if you haven't been to Istanbul, you don't know much about the history. He really gives you dense information, really important, really significant information. And he gives you information both in English language and in Russian as well. When I see this, I imagine victory. I see the signs of victory looking at this. MashaAllah. Now just imagine it took 4 months to build this. And in spite of that, it's been here for like 570 plus years. You know, you gotta hand it over to them. Like, done a magnificent job in keeping this over here. Now we're approaching sunset very soon. And it's a nice way to like end the day, you can say, with watching this. I said the Rumeli Fortress has three towers to it. 3 important towers to it. Now when you go to Rumeli Fortress, you have some good points up there where you can get good views of the Bosphorus Sea and of the opposite side as well. So the views are really nice to see. The entrance ticket, I can't remember how much the price is specifically if you're buying it as a single ticket, but it's not so expensive. I remember going there, it was really, really inexpensive to go into Rumeli Fortress. But do check it out. Okay, so after all of that touring, they're going to be showing us the Asian side, but I'm just going to get some snacks, some drinks, some beverages, some tea or some coffee or some chocolates or some of these snacks over here. So I'm going to decide about that. But yeah, they also give you some coffee and some like cookies as well. So I'm looking forward to having that right now. I'm a bit hungry. Now it's time for some Turkish tea, which they give you for free actually, you know, part of the package. So, and also giving us some like cookies as well to have with this.
Now it is.
We're going to be stopping for an hour and 15 minutes. So at 8:30, we'll have to come back. Now it's about 7:20. So an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes. I'm quite excited about that. I wasn't actually aware that there'll be this 1 hour stoppage. So I'm quite happy about it. So this tour comprises of 3 hours. The first hour of this tour is looking at the European side. So you're looking at the landmarks of the European side. Then you get kind of like half an hour looking at the Asian side. Now we've come to the Asian side and you get like 1 hour where it stops. And then you get to roam around. You get to do some shopping or you get to go to some restaurants or some cafes like that. And then you come back after 1 hour. Right now it's about 7:30 and we'll have to come back by 8:30. We'll come back onto this boat and then the last half an hour will be spent going back to the European side, and then we'll be dropped off back to our hotel. So really cool, like the way they divided it, because remember, Istanbul, there's a dichotomy of being in the European side and Asian side. So 1 hour is given to each of them, and then you have 1 hour over here in the Asian side itself to do some shopping. So let's go and enjoy ourselves. With this 1 hour stoppage, we went to pray at the Dargah of Sheikh Mehmed, which is good. It's located here in Beylar Bay. So that's my spiritual guide. He's my spiritual guide. And it's amazing how it stopped, you know, so close to the masjid. So we went there. After that, there's this brand called Lagash, Lagash, and they make this durum, durum means wrap, like a wrap in Turkish, and they add some çiğ köfte in it, which is nice. It's delicious. Like the way they gave us a sample with some lettuce, it tastes amazing. So it's put a lot of like spices into it. And let me go ahead and give you a look as to how it looks like. So it kind of looks like this. This is the çiğ köfte in the durum. You got this marvelous view of one of the bridges here in Istanbul, which is really famous. You know, it lights up red, you know, at night. Bismillah. Oh, awesome. Also, our boat's coming, so it's time to depart once more. So this bridge here, what a view. This is found near the Beylar Bay area of the Asian side. Second to none, what a view, it's amazing. And when it's nighttime, it really glows red with the red lights. It's spectacular. Istanbul, like a lot of major cities, is a spectacle in its own.
It is possible to see some again European architecture style. Monochrome and some Baltic details used in the we will see now last icon of city on our utility. Наблюдаем за красотой Босфора. Ночной Стамбул.
Oh yeah. Maiden's Tower. So right there you can see the Maiden's Tower. It's really cool. It really looks amazing, especially when it's lit up at night. And they call it the Kids Colosseum. So another thing that happens is that when you're on this cruise, you might be stood somewhere and someone with a camera just comes and starts taking photos of you. Even though you might say to them that you don't want to take any photos, but they insist. So they got quite a few photos of me and of quite a few people over here as well. And then they put it in a scrapbook with like 4 photos in there. And she was saying that it's 35 euros per person. I was like, I don't really want to pay 35 euros because I'm not really too fussed about taking photos for myself. So I've got a YouTube channel, so how many photos am I going to take? But then later on she said that just take one, it'll be 10 euros, and I just took it because I was like, you know, it's a good memory. Like I don't take too many, nowadays you don't get photos like this, which are printed out. I remember having my family take out a lot of photos like this when we were kids, but nowadays it's digital, so you do a lot of things over social media. But I was like, okay, I'll just keep one nice memory of the Bosphorus, you know, being near Rumeli Bridge. So I was like, yeah, 10 euros is fine for this. So yeah, you can take your photos if you want, and maybe you can go for the scrapbook with a 35 euros price tag on there. So we're coming to the very end of this trip now. We're like in the last like 5 minutes or so. And we're under the bridge, the Galata Bridge. You'll be able to see the Galata Tower here. Look at that view. It looks mesmerizing at night time. It really glows well. And done so well to maintain it after so many centuries as well. Anyways, we're approaching the end of this tour and 3 hours have flown by so quickly. Really good service. I felt that it's like, if you're doing Istanbul on a budget, for instance, like this is more than enough. You don't really need to even get something that's more fancy than this, because they pick you up from the hotel, they bring you here by coach, then you have 3 hours throughout this tour. They also give you some like tea or coffee, and you can get some like cookies as well that they give you. Obviously you get 1 hour in between where you can kind of like stop and have some snacks as well. And then you come back, like 3 hours go so fast. I think the tour guide, he was really good as well. Like he was giving some really good information, and he's bilingual, so he was able to speak in English and also guide people that are Russian speaking people as well. And he really gave like a wealth of information. Obviously I come to Istanbul and I know some of the things that he was saying, although there were a couple of things that I wasn't aware of. But if you're here coming for the first time, like coming to a tour like this is really good, because the information that you're going to get from someone like him is going to be massive, because he's going to give you information that you've perhaps not had an opportunity to come across because maybe you haven't been over here. So do comment in the comment section below what you thought of this tour, whether you'd like to come on this tour, whether you think it's value for money, and if you've already been on this tour or on one of the Bosphorus tours, it could be a little bit different from this one, because the tours are different. Sometimes it's a different time of the day. It could be in the morning time, could be in the lunchtime, could be obviously during dinner time, like in the night. So depending on your experience, how did you find it? Was it good? Was it enriching? Was it, you know, were you able to seek some knowledge from it? How was the experience? How did it feel like? So let me know about that. Do like this video if you found or derived any value from it. And I'll leave some important information in the description box so that you can kind of look into the company that we used on this tour, so that, you know, we make it all hands off. You just have to like just follow the instructions, and pretty much you'll be able to, you know, get in contact with this company. We'll leave some of those important details down below in the description box. Do comment below, do like this video, and with that, catch you in the next one.